It was this crippled boy's first day in school. The school system didn't have wheelchair accessibility, so he went directly into the second grade, having never been to kindergarten nor the first grade. His only education came from a homeschool teacher. The boy sat at his desk, looked all around at the students. He had never been with kids before, had no social interaction, and the teacher spoke. All of you children should know your ABCs and be able to add and subtract. I am sending out a test. You have 3 minutes to answer the questions. The boy looked at the test set before him, and then at all the other students who were now speedfully using their pencils. This boy, who had never interacted with others, was a daydreamer. He had lived in his own world, so naturally his attention wandered. There was this boy wearing a cowboy outfit he admired, and he wondered where that boy had placed his cowboy hat. He looked at the teeny girl with pigtails and wondered how she got her hair to look like that. There was a boy with high-cuff pants, and he wondered if that's where that boy kept his crayons. He looked down at his feet and inspected the cracks on the floor and thought they were a beautiful design. Suddenly, 2 feet appeared, covering the cracks. The toenails were all painted bright red. He imagined that they had hinges attached, and that would be a great secret place to keep Taffy. He looked up. It was his teacher. What are you looking at? Your toes? Why are you looking at my feet? Well, I figure from your secret hiding place that you can bend over and gobble up and take that taffy into your lips. Read the first question. The boy smiled and looked at it a while. Out loud, said the teacher demandingly. The boy read very slowly, and it became clear he had trouble reading. All right, write down the alphabet. The boy looked dumbfounded. The teacher took his pencil abruptly and scribbled A, B, C on the paper. Now you finish the rest. The boy looked up at the teacher with an innocent expression. You need to know your ABCs, she said with frustration. What is 2 plus 2? The boy's home teacher had taught him this one. 4, he smiled. What is 6 minus 11? The boy didn't have that answer. All right, finish your questions. And the teacher left to inspect another student's progress. The boy thought about the teacher's red toes, and that maybe besides being a holding house for her taffy, it might be a place that she kept the answers to the questions. He inspected her red painted toes again. But the teacher caught his constant gaze. Will you keep your eyes on your desk? It was a short time later when the teacher spoke again. All right, put down your pencils and pass your papers forward. She collected them to read and then passed out another set of papers. We will be learning multiplication and division today. The boy received his papers, and then he passed the remaining ones and he inspected. He perceived the scribblings on the paper not as multiplications. They were similar to the markings on his favorite secret hiding place, the weeping willow tree, the place where he used to climb into from his wheelchair and hide. It was his sanctuary. These markings were a secret code done by the tree. And he thought, but why were they on the paper? Were they taken from the bark of the tree? Was the tree now naked of its marks? And how did they get there? How could they be transferred onto the paper? Had they simply disappeared? How was this done? Why was it done? To leave his favorite tree naked without any markings just seemed wrong. And what was this multiplication and division? Were they in cahoots with the birds transferred by their feet from the tree to the paper? The school bell rang, and the teacher announced, That's your 10-minute recess. When the bell rings again, don't dawdle. Quickly come back to your seats. The boy watched as the class stormed out of the room. Only he remained. The teacher looked up from the paper she was grading. You have to go outside. The boy looked dumbfounded. Now, said the teacher. Go outside, come back when you hear the bell. The boy understood and left his desk and went outside. When he entered the playground, he spied kids playing. They were hopscotching, dribbling basketballs, throwing baseballs, playing jacks, skipping rope, all of which he had never seen before. He just stared at it all. Some kids were wrestling, some holding hands, they were chatting. The noise seemed deafening to him, so loud that he had to cover his ears. He looked on at all this wonder until the bell rang again, and then he followed the kids into the room and took his seat. And the teacher chimed, "I'm returning your graded papers. Anyone receiving below a C will get an unsatisfactory mark on their report card." The boy received his paper, inspected his grade, which was a resounding failure. It was scribbled boldly across the entire paper. The boy admired the scribblings. To him, the teacher's writing design was really neat, and he wondered if she had a special pencil that she hid under her hinged toenails, one in which she used to do such fine work. It would have to be an awfully small pencil, he thought. The teacher spoke. "We are now going to start our multiplications. You will refer to your papers as I write on the chalkboard." The boy was mesmerized at her handwriting. It was beautiful. The teacher was interrupted by a student carrying a paper, which was handed to her. She read, then looked directly at the slow-reading child and said to him, "You're wanted in the principal's office. Put your pencil down and go there immediately." The boy smiled and did as he was told. At the principal's office, he saw his mother. She was in tears. The principal told him he was being put back a grade. The boy's mother said to her son, "I'm so sorry." The boy responded, "Why are you sorry, Mom? Why are you crying?" Shortly, the boy entered the new classroom. The home teacher addressed the class. "Now, children, as I promised, my pet snake." She pulled off a cover that revealed a cage containing a snake, and she began her story about Maynard, the snake. The boy was mesmerized. He listened, then his mind wandered. He wondered if his previous second-grade teacher had a miniature snake in her secret hiding place. He figured, if she did, the snake might eat up all the taffy. But if the snake tried to eat up the teeny pencil, that might cause some indigestion. Though maybe the pencil would already be dissolved by the ingredients in the taffy, he also thought that the little snake would probably be turned into the color red because of the dominant red painted toenails. All in all, his first day of school was a happy one. He couldn't wait to tell the weeping willow tree about his adventures. He hoped the tree's markings weren't erased. But if they were, he could tell the weeping willow tree where they'd gone, and maybe, just maybe, they could both convince the birds to transfer them back.